Let's take it to Vegas now, where the trial for the man accused of orchestrating Tupac's death is happening as we speak tonight, with a medical examiner testifying about what exactly killed Tupac Shakur.
Do you have an opinion as to the cause of death of Mr. Shakur?
Yes.
And what is that?
He died of gunshot wounds of chest and abdomen.
And do you have an opinion as to the manner of death?
Yes.
And what is that?
Homicide.
I want to take you to a live look at court right now. That's the head of security at the club Tupac was supposed to perform at the night he was shot. He's testifying. And apparently things got a little tense on the stand. Earlier today, jurors saw pictures of Tupac's body after he died from that shooting back in 1996. Our team inside court telling us most of Shakur's family walked out before those graphic pictures were shown. Prosecutors also focusing on the surveillance video of a fight in the lobby of a Vegas casino before the shooting. So this is you've seen this video before, but prosecutors told jurors to specifically follow the movements of, we've spotlit here, the guy in the Dan Marino Miami Dolphins jersey, the one with the 13 on it. Remember, prosecutors say Davis planned the shooting as revenge for that fight. And they say the evidence is in the tell-all book Davis wrote himself. They say what you've just seen here is Tupac and his entourage attacking Davis's nephew, the one in the 13 jersey. Davis has pleaded not guilty and says the book was actually not even written by him. Let me bring in Misty Marris now. So, big deal trial, right? I mean, Tupac, just a name that is familiar to so many people. And we've seen prosecutors today lay a lot of the groundwork. The fight, the autopsy, the evidence of the scene at the crime, right?
Yeah, notorious murder trial that was unsolved for many years now. Davis, the only person charged in connection with Tupac's death. So the autopsy report, the cause of death, surveillance footage, as well as MGM security. Why are prosecutors presenting all of this? Because none of it points directly to Davis. Well, Hallie, this case is driven by Davis's words, and there is not any physical evidence. There is no gun. There is no car. So all of that doesn't exist. So what are prosecutors doing? They're laying out the scene. They're showing what was going on during that time, as well as the results of the autopsy, cause of death, and what was found during the investigation to show consistency between what Davis has said in this tell-all book and other media interviews and an interview with law enforcement in 2008 and 2009 and what other witnesses are saying, because words are not enough. They need some kind of corroboration, and this is the way that they're doing it.
I want to show the live shot here. Again, we're getting these images of court in. It's happening, obviously, in the West Coast here. But the man in the plaid shirt that we showed a minute ago, the camera's not on him now, but who was the head of security at the club that Tupac was going to perform at, was basically saying that Tupac inherited, and we talk about this East Coast, West Coast rap beef, that Tupac inherited the beef between Suge Knight and Diddy. And it's interesting because people, I think, if you grew up in that era, if you know anything about that era of rap, like, you know about the sort of East Coast, West Coast beefing. And why is that important for the legal structure of this case? It's obviously come up more than once.
Yeah, Hallie, I grew up in that era, so I know about that. Tupac, Notorious B.I.G., Diddy, all of that. But it's important to this case because in addition to charges for murder, there's also a gang enhancement. So prosecutors are also looking to show that Davis engaged in this killing for the purpose of furthering the goals of a gang. So that's the legal aspect, but also it's that scene setter. Why would Davis be involved in this? So prosecutors took a lot of time to explain that he was the head of the South Side Compton Crips, and that Tupac and Suge Knight, who's a potential other witness, were part of Death Row Records, which had an affiliation to Mob Piru. So that all really, again, sets that scene because there isn't physical evidence here, but the jury is going to need to understand why would this happen, retaliation, but you've also got this other gang element that's part of the charges, but also part of the story.
Can I also ask you, Misty, there's something interesting happening in this case where jurors can ask questions of the witnesses. So the people on the jury can themselves ask, like, put questions to be asked. Well, is it because it's in the state of Nevada? Is that a thing?
Yes, so it's a unique rule that's in some jurisdictions. Nevada is one of them. So what happens is after direct examination, cross-examination, jurors can actually submit questions. They go to the judge can confer with the defense and prosecution and read them. But it's interesting, Hallie, because it gives you some insight. What are the jurors thinking?
That's exactly
right. What
right.
are their questions of the witnesses?
Yes.
So it's interesting to watch.
It's another tea leaf to read as this trial goes on. Misty
Correct.
Marris, thank you for watching all of it for us. I know we'll talk again soon. Appreciate that.